Welcome in. This is the first heavy snowfall of the year for Toronto, so I wanted to catch it. I'm just going to do a short drive here. Saw somebody post something on Facebook the other day, something like, "Meanwhile in Canada, let's play Whose Lane Is It Anyway?" I'm going to get right behind a plow here, too. Drew's Adventures, good to see you here. Travel Fun 69, Express Baskets and Treats, thanks for coming in. This will be a short one. I only anticipate about 15 minutes or so, but I thought I'd catch it just because I happened to drive to Toronto. I'm going to truck that one by one. Another unboxing for parking. Richard, good to have you in the house. Thanks for coming in. Is that just Jason Keto and more? Yep, and Scratching PPA, of course. Thank you. My dear friend, I don't know if he's got a shovel. I'm looking forward to that, of course. Thinking about just putting my blinkers on. I get a mirror I can't see out of here. I brushed the truck before I got in. But this is just the beginning of what's supposed to be bad. So pardon me while, of course, I'm not going to read the chat. If I have to stop, I'll try to catch up a little bit. But thank you, everybody, for being here. I just wanted to catch this for a second. Get an extra piece of content on the channel. I have to keep the wipers going this speed too. I'm going to stay off the highway though. I'm just going to take side streets here. Passing through Rexdale where I grew up actually. I'm on Derry Road right now heading towards Woodbine Center. I might just put my hazards on. Travel Flight 69's in the house. Some of you know that. That's Jeff Lepard. I run his channels for him, right? He does a lot of live streaming and things like that as well. But we got a guy in Toronto that started a channel right at the beginning of COVID. His name is Johnny Strides. And he has just done spectacularly. I think he crossed his 100,000 the other day. I can't get around this truck. That's completely unsafe. I can't see a thing, my dear goodness. I just have to take it easy. This is what they mean by, like, whose lane is it anyway? Nobody knows where the lines are on the road. Truck's doing the safest thing, just stay closer to the middle. He gave me a couple inches there, though, so I could get around. This guy, Johnny Strides, built a channel walking around Toronto, so he does a video and a stream every day for years now, for a couple of years, 3 years I think. And but one of the things he's given, he's a friend of Jeff's. He knows me, I know him, but I haven't met up with him yet. But Jeff's met up with him and knows him well now, and said that people love to see snow. So I thought, well, here's the chance. When I've been around, we haven't had any of this. So again, pardon me for not reading the chat, of course. I'll try to catch up a little bit while I'm in the stoplights here. And thanks, everybody, for being here. Andy, good to see you in the house. My sister gave me something for Christmas. My sister and her kids gave me something for Christmas. They gave me these couple of card games. So they're trivia. One is of The Office, and the other one is Seinfeld, which is two of my favorite TV shows ever. So what I might do, I haven't opened them yet. I got to open them and have a look at what is actually inside. But I'm wondering if I might do sometime in the next little while a couple of trivia streams again. And what I'll do is I'll quickly get those into the system, and we'll do like a Seinfeld trivia night and a Office trivia night. They're not huge packs of cards. I don't know if there's 50 in there or 100 or something like that. So be fun enough. I did a lot of trivia streams in the fall, or at the end of the summer. I just wanted to give it a try. Canadian Family Life's here. Ace Flaw 1, my friend Andy, thanks for being here. He went across the crosswalk. I didn't realize that. See, nobody can see anything on the road. So here's another thing, too. Some of you know that I do some outdoor work with Travel Fund 69 with Jeff. And one of the things that we do is paint the lines in the parking lots. So one of the reasons why in Canada most of the parking lots are painted yellow is because that way we can see the lines in the winter in between the parking spots, at least when the plows go through or when people shovel. You could imagine white lines on the road and something like this, you can't see a thing. They would have probably already salted because we've heard about this storm coming. And what I mean by that is they have trucks that take industrial salt and dump it onto the roads so that when the snow and ice and things, or the snow becomes ice, it'll have an easier time melting it and hopefully faster so that the roads won't be too dangerous too long. Yeah, everybody's taking it nice and slow here. I think it's Jellystone. There's a Canadian rap artist named Jellystone, or R&B hip-hop artist, and he does a song where he references working hard, waiting on Rexdale Boulevard. That's the street we're driving down right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pass a restaurant in a second here. On the right-hand side, they've changed the name and everything. Some of you may know the name Rob Ford. He was the mayor of Toronto for a while, and he's passed on now. But he used to go to this restaurant on the side here. It was called Steak Queen, and just about anybody who grew up around Rexdale would have been there at least once in their life. And there was a video that got him in some trouble. He was having a good time over there. So we're doing some sightseeing in the third worst part of Toronto, apparently, Rexdale. I grew up in a nice little neighborhood here. It's not all bad, but some of the more newsworthy areas, let's just say, of Toronto are in and around Rexdale. This guy's taking it a little too slow for my liking, but see if I can carefully get around. My mirrors, luckily, when I bought this truck 11 years ago, I was not interested in the power-heated auto-dimming mirrors, but today I'm glad I have them. So thank you, everybody, again for being here. Forgive me for not responding to the chat. I can't read it while I drive. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. My vision, I can't see the little screen. I'm just on an iPhone 11 right now. Probably recognize some of the franchises. I think Harvey's is Canadian. Swiss Chalet, I'm unsure of. We have some different names for our gas stations, but I think they match some of the oil companies from the U.S., like Exxon and Ultramar and all this. We've had quite a winter. Most of us in the Toronto area are looking out our windows on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day wondering if it's going to snow. And there was no such thing this year. This is the first heavy snowfall like this. I've only seen a tiny bit of snow myself so far, not enough to be higher than the grass. so not more than an inch or two, and melted the next day. We're supposed to be getting hammered hard right now, so that's why I wanted to catch this quickly. Not to mention, tip from Travel Fund 69, of course. 2 tips, because he was saying somebody else was live, somebody I don't know, but like doing a snow walk, let's say in Toronto. But as well, Jeff is the one who let me know about the Johnny Stride saying snow is something to catch. There's 2 pineapples. Good to see you in the house. They're streaming 24 hours from Hawaii. Yeah, thank you everybody for conversating with each other in the chat. I can barely read the screen even when I'm parked like this. Mr. Fulton Mraz is in the house. I don't mean to miss anybody, but thank you all for being here. I'll show you on the right-hand side here, my first permanent job when I was 16 years old, while I was still going to school, was working at this bowling alley over here. It's called Bowlerama. They got 32 lanes in there. They used to have 18 lanes of 5-pin, which I think is a Canadian thing, but I could be wrong, and 18 lanes of 10-pin, but apparently it's changed. I went in there once in like the last 20 years for a second. That job was very bad for me. It's very laxed. So in an 8-hour shift, you do about a half an hour's worth of work. The rest of the time is standing around talking. If we wanted to, I guess you could say I was working smart, not hard. But I don't know. This drive might be a few minutes longer than I thought. This is actually going to be an all-new area now. So, I'll never remember how long ago it was, if it was 20 years or whatever. They changed a lot of this. There used to be a small shopping mall ahead of us. We're going to turn the corner right where it is, and it was called Rexdale Mall. I used to walk through there like every day going to and from school in the area, especially high school. And then now they've changed it all. So they've started wiping out some of the stores that have been around. We have a huge franchise called Canadian Tire. And this is, I'm trying to think of what the equivalent is in the States. So something like Pep Boys, where you would go like to get your car fixed, but so much more. Because like a department store that started with hardware and auto mechanic stuff, if I understand right. But it's 100 some odd years old now. And anyway, they closed a couple of them in the area to build a huge gargantuan thing. And there's Costco over on the side. You see that. They're amalgamating all our banks now, too, in some of the different cities, closing down a couple of smaller branches and putting them together like this. When we come up here, Walmart took over, or, Smart Centers or whatever it's called, that takes over these places. So there's a Walmart there. They just call every Walmart a supercenter here. I don't even know if there's such thing as a Walmart that's not called a supercenter anymore. I forget what that's like in the States for our friends. So where we are right now, you could look at it in Google Maps if you wanted to see where Rexdale is. But Rexdale is the northwestern corner of Toronto. Toronto's broken up into 5 boroughs, or 4 now, similar to what you have in New York, when you talk about Brooklyn and Manhattan and everything. Rexdale is essentially a neighborhood, but it's large in the northwestern side of Toronto. Takes up maybe 1/10 of the city or something like that. This is all parking for Costco over here. It's all brand new. Imagine. So, property values here are going through the roof. They're already through the roof, but they're just going like even farther through the roof And then even on the left-hand side here, I lived in one of the small buildings that you see there, if you can barely see it. And then that was for a very brief period, and a couple streets over is where I grew up. A lot of people have been posting lately. There was a study that came out. I don't know if there's any truth to any of this stuff, but they said that the 401 highway or 401 freeway is the worst, I think, on the planet, or at least in North America, for traffic. And for those of you who remember the movie Office Space, they made a big scene about traffic in that movie, and it was so funny, right? And I've been in the smallest amount of it. I forget which city it is. I don't think it's Cincinnati. One of the cities has a freeway, and then there's this bridge, and you do this really sharp, like, left turn and then right turn again. I don't know why that was designed that way, but I don't remember if it was in Columbus, Ohio, or if it was in Cincinnati, or for the life of me, I can't remember, Toledo or something. And but I remember a little bit of traffic, and I remember the reference in the movie. So for those of us who live here, if you're a small contractor, let's say a guy who works with a truck, right? Whether you paint, whether you're an electrician, a plumber, anything like that, it's one job a day. That's it. I wouldn't even bother attempting more than one. You can't get anywhere. It really is that bad on our highway. And we haven't seen improvement. My father tells me stories from, either when I was born or before that, which is longer ago than you think. But our freeway, which is 16 lanes across, by the way, in most places, had no cars. So when it was first built, you'd see one car drive, and then, I'm guessing 30 to 60 seconds would go by, and you'd see another car. And it's impossible for any of us to even imagine that, those of us who've grown up with this, because it was already horrible my whole adult life, and it's just gotten worse. Still snowing, just not quite as heavily as it was when I first got on the road. I'm old enough now, between me and my sister, a couple of our kids are starting to drive, and I tell my son the other day, he's been driving the truck a little bit with me, and I said, you got to remember, 4x4 has nothing to do with the brakes. It doesn't help. 4x4 is only while you're moving. I'll just put it on the whole time, even if it's raining. We're heading down Islington Avenue right now. We're not going to go as far as where the subways are, closer to. It's not even downtown. You have to go far to get into downtown, but down where the subway line is much farther than we're going. We're going about halfway. But we used to walk when I was a teenager and this and that. I used to love going downtown. I used to love it. Love Yonge Street and hanging around the record stores and the Eaton Center. We have a huge, it's quite expensive. It's not very expensive, but it's one of the more. The Eaton Center. And I forget if there's 300 stores in there or something like that. And but sometimes what would happen is the buses that go all the way from the subway up here to where I used to live, it might be faster to walk. So what we would do is we'd get off the subway at the station and start walking, and then just say, okay, we'll just hop on the bus if it comes. We used to take transfers off the subway and this and that, and of course with that few buses back in the day, we likely knew the drivers well enough. not doing too bad for red lights either. So thanks everybody for being here. Again, forgive me for not keeping up with the chat. I can't read it obviously while we're driving right now. I don't have an extra device with me or anything. This was unexpected. Coastal waters in the house, I think I see. Thank you for that. I tried an experiment too when I started this. I don't know if you guys can hear that background music also. So I got YouTube music playing on the same phone through the Bluetooth to the car or to the truck with the copyright-free music, right? Just so it's not dead silence if there was ever a chance I'd run out of things to say. I don't know how many of my friends are laughing now, because I never run out of things to say, of course. The other thing, too, is I'm imagining that because we heard about this storm, like everybody heard that this was coming for days. So most people probably got their Friday night plans and said, I'm not going anywhere. And that's why I'm guessing it's not too busy on the roads right now. There we go. Our ABS is going to help us out a little bit. Forgive me, guys. I can read names slightly, barely. I'm using Streamlabs on the phone. I can't read the text at all. I don't have glasses with me and all that. But again, I just wanted to get this on so everybody could see, because I know it's an interesting topic of conversation when we've been talking about the fact that Toronto, of all places, hasn't had any real snow this year. So that streak has ended. Out of this area, we're in a borough called Etobicoke. It's its own city now. They've broken these things off, but what you might have otherwise called a borough a long time ago of Etobicoke, things are spaced out. Sometimes when you see the downtown Toronto stuff, I've done a few streams there, the streets are really tight together. You got 2 lanes, and the houses like come right to the sidewalks, and they're right against the roads and stuff like that. But out here, it's nice and spacious. You know, you got 40-foot lots, and everybody's got a front lawn and a back lawn. Of course, we got apartment buildings and everything else of all sizes, schools and churches and everything, you know. But it's not packed in so tight like it is in the downtown areas here. So, you know, the roads are 4 or 5 lanes across, as you see. I've always loved living in Toronto. I really do love this city. But I'm just about where I'm going. So I'm going to hop off here. But thank you, everybody, again, for hanging out. And, again, I just wanted to give you a quick look at this snow, because I know it's on the news right now. And forgive me for not keeping up with the chat, but we're all friends here. So thanks for your patience. We'll see everybody again soon. Thanks for coming in. Bye-bye, everyone.